When is a good time to meet the parents? What should the next step be when you propose and your partner says no or they're not ready? When is a good time to have sex with your partner? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of JayTalk. I'm your host as always, Jalen Omega. If you have not yet, please, for the love of all things, can you please click that subscribe button, leave a like down below, leave a comment below, and share this to someone who has not seen it yet, who may need it and don't even know that they need it. Trust me, I do this for fun, I do this for sport, but also I'm also here to inspire, to help people through these things that they may not even know that they're going through. They don't have an outlet. They feel like they're the only person. I know that relationships are a huge topic, huge talk of the town, huge talk of the nation, huge talk of the world. So please, if you can do those couple of steps for me, start by subscribing. Thank you. Now, I put up a poll on my IG story and it actually got a lot of replies on what topics I should hit on for this month. And granted, this is going to go longer than February just because I know how big relationship topics are. So I just want to hit as many things as possible and really be able to relate to you all from my experiences and things I've seen, things I've even done or been through myself. So today is a little 3-in-1. I had one of my good friends reach out to me. I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first one. He asked, when is a good time to have sex with your partner? And to my mom and all my church folk, my ministry folk, I'm gonna go ahead and start off by saying when you get married. But I know how life goes, I understand it, and that's why I don't really have a clear and concise answer for that. You guys let me know what you think. When's a good time? I personally would say a good time to have sex with your partner is when you've talked about it before. Like, seriously talked about it. Like, if you're into that, like how many partners you've had, like what do you think about it? Just thoughts about it. It's just another part of a relationship, just being very open, honest, and transparent with each other. I feel like that's one of those things that just kind of happens. I know I say just happens like you slip and fall and it just happens, but seriously, like when emotions are involved, when the setting and the environment, it seems just right, it kind of just happens. So I would seriously say when you're in a very serious relationship, sex is nothing to play with. Like, it's one of those things, like you hear about it in songs like sex, money, drugs, whatever. But it's so serious because I'm a firm believer in soul ties, and who you're sleeping with and sleeping around with, those entities and those spirits, they do cling on to you. That's why you may notice yourself or people around you, like after they've hooked up with a new partner or something like that, like their energy is just a little different, at least for a couple of days, maybe for weeks, because those things that person has on their spirit, it attaches to you. I'm a firm believer in that. I don't know what you may believe in, but yeah, that's my take on that. When is a good time to meet the parents? It all depends on the age range. If I was still 17, 18, 19 years old, I would say when you want to take them out on a date, you want to be a gentleman. I'm talking to the guys here. You want to be a gentleman. Make sure you speak to the parents. Make sure you let them know that that individual is in good hands and that you're going to take care of them. But now that I'm a bit older, I say a good time to meet the parents is when it's really serious. Whether you're living with that person or talking about living or trying to go into that next step, it's a lot of factors that come into it. It's all situational basis, and that it's just about that time, like, hey, you should know where I come from. You should know my parents' values, my family values, and then kind of take it from there. So if you decide where to go from there, if you want to get closer with the family or just keep your relationship private, that's all, again, situational. Like, I've been in a relationship where I met the parents before and I barely ever talked to them or hung out with them all as a group ever again. Or not ever again, but very minimally. And I've been in a relationship where I was best friends with the dad, and like we would just hang out and talk all the time. Granted, I haven't been in that many relationships, so yeah. This question right here really had me like, whoa. This I had to do a little bit of digging and deep thinking and just kind of meditate for a couple minutes on, because it could be very serious. He asked me, what should the next step be when you propose and your partner says no or they're not ready? When it comes to proposing to your partner, that's something that you cannot take lightly. You cannot play around with that. And here's why. When it comes to proposing to your partner, it has to be a month by month discussion, whether it's like full blown or just like she's hinting at it, like she wants to get married, or you're hinting at it like you want to propose, like kind of just thinking of ideas, just asking, things like that. And there's a lot of my friends too that their partners are encouraging them and like hinting to them like, when you gonna propose? When you gonna propose? Stuff like that. You can't just spring that onto someone because you don't know where they're at mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. There's so many things that go into that. But if it's gotten to the point where they've kind of hinted at it, or you guys have kind of spoken about it, and they say no, oof, my heart. You have to first deal with the internal pain that you may have experienced from that trauma. There's honestly only 2 to 3 ways you can go about this. You can backtrack and kind of have those discussions again and kind of figure out what still needs to be tweaked, what still needs to be worked out. If they're really ready, if they were just talking mess and they decided, whoa, I may need to backtrack a little bit. You got to have a private and very open and honest discussion about that and just see, hey, what do we need to do in order to make that next step? And if they think they have a long ways to go, or you think maybe it wasn't the best idea to do that, maybe you just have to like cut it off, because it's so hard to come back from something like that. Like, I've never experienced it, but I can only imagine. I've seen videos on Twitter, stuff like that, right? Being told no in public, and it's just the public embarrassment. But it's not always bad. It's a learning experience. Talk to your partner, see where their head's at. If y'all are just not in the same space, you guys might just have to split up and possibly come back together, or just all in all call it quits. And it's easier said than done, but those are really the only 2 options. Like yeah. Man, those are just a few things that I wanted to hit on, because like I said, I've gotten so many replies. I may need to put out multiple videos within this week because I just have so many replies and so many things I want to touch on and talk about. And I don't want it to feel rushed, because I want it to be as authentic as possible. And I want you all to get something from this and have an open discussion forum for it. I hope this kind of helped you. I hope this gave you some insight about me and where my head's at on these topics, and as well as helping you as well navigate through your relationship life, wherever you may be with a partner, single, married, divorced, wherever it may be. So there's a lot more relationship talks coming. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope that you have a blessed day, and take care. I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.